Well, g'day Van Fam and welcome back to another episode. This one's a little bit unique. We're going to do something completely different that we've not done before. So I'm going to introduce myself to everyone who's not seen me before. I'm Melissa. I am 40 and I left from Queensland back in 2021. So I've been travelling for 3.5 years. And this is?
Hi everyone, I'm Clem. I'm from Our Little Adventure. So we left from Perth in 2020. So it's been 4 years now. It's all a bit of a blur. So today we're going to talk about being mums on the road.
The things we like.
The things we like, the things we don't like, the things that are really hard. We're also going to talk about our kids as well, how old they are, if they're in school or not, how old they were when we left.
Yes.
Yeah.
So all the mum things you want to know, we've got all the juicy goss.
Yeah.
So when we left to travel, we left with our son Owen was 5 and our daughter Kaylee was 7. So they're old enough to buckle themselves in the seat, which was great. And now they are 8 and 10, which is crazy to believe.
And what setup are you guys in?
We are in a caravan with towing a car. So we're in a very small caravan, a 17-foot caravan, which is very, very squat.
Yeah, you do well. You do really well. They've got 2 bunks in their caravan, and with how tall their kids are, you guys do exceptionally well.
Yes, we need a bigger caravan, definitely.
That's right.
You guys travel in style, though.
Our caravan, we have a 21-foot interior New Age Road Owl, and it's pulled by our Toyota Land Cruiser 800 series.
I mean, you left.
That's right. So when we left, so our family's a little bit younger in terms of our kids. So our oldest son now, he is now 5, but when we left he was only 11 months old, and since we've been on the road we've actually had another kid. So little Heathy is 11 months old. So we stopped for a while last year to have Heath, and when we left again he was only 5 months old. So we're going to talk about having a baby on the road and how that all works today.
But the most important thing is how we met.
Yes, how did we meet, Mel?
We met in Tassie back in January, I think 2022.
2022, that's right.
And I think I knew I was meeting you like the day before because our husband's YouTube. We don't say much YouTube.
We're YouTubers' wives.
Yes, let's get the technicality right. So we met, you only had Liam. He was 3. He was 3. So he loves Kaylee. Yeah. Kaylee took him under her wing and they were playing, and we bonded over parenting, being YouTubers' wives, wine.
Exploring Tasmania.
Yes, and
more
books.
wine and books,
and
of
books.
Course, books, yeah.
We read a lot.
Yeah.
Well, yes, I read a lot. And I share my reading with someone, so it's really nice.
It is really nice. So we've become friends on the road, and since we met in Tassie, we did a lot of exploring together throughout all of Tassie, and we have since met up again on the Gold Coast, and then after that, we planned everything so that we could meet up here on the Eyre Peninsula so we could spend some proper time together.
Yeah, I think it's going to be quite a while, like nearly a couple of months together, which would be amazing.
It's already been over a month now. We're reluctant to leave each other.
We are. It's like, no, we'll just spend more time.
That's right. All right, we're going to get into the interview questions now. Now, this is going to be 2 different videos. So if you're interested in talking about school-age kids, or maybe you're planning a lap on the road or travelling Australia.
Or with younger kids as
well.
Or
with younger kids.
And dogs.
And with dogs, we have a dog as well. So depending on what you want to watch, you can watch both. But both videos will be here for your viewing.
Cool. Yeah. Right. Now I have the fantastic opportunity to interview you, my best friend Clem. You have quite a different experience. You're slightly younger than me.
I'm 34. Well, not yet. I'm 33. I'm 34 in a few weeks. So.
Yes, that's exciting.
Is it?
It might be.
It could be fun, all right?
It could be fun, all right?
Be fun. Yeah.
Celebrating your birthday with friends is always better than being alone with your
friends. This is true. Okay.
Right. So you've had quite a different experience travelling.
Yes. So
you've had a baby on the road twice.
Twice, yeah.
Twice. So that's a bit of a challenge. So you left when Liam was not even a year old.
No, so he was 11 months when we finally left the house. We got straight into it. We left the day we moved out of our house, straight into the van and hit the road. So that was an eye-opener, I think, as a first-time mum, first-time parents, and hitting the road full-time, moving from comfortable house life into a caravan. And at the time, we also had 2 dogs. So it was a huge eye-opener and a huge transition for us moving into a van with a baby.
Is there anything that you struggled to find on the road that you were like, oh, we need to have stock of this in the van because in case the shop doesn't have one?
Not really. Like you can, from the travels that we've done, you can pretty much buy baby wipes and nappies anywhere.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's awesome.
Even in the most remote places, the servos will probably have something.
You've got to tide you over.
Yeah, that's right. Yeah. So I haven't had any trouble. The probably hardest thing is probably when they start on solids and then you've got to think about feeding your baby. So both of my kids have been breastfed, so I have never had to worry about having a stock of formula either. So I think it's probably something that could be considered as hard to find in some areas. So that could be something to think about if you're hitting the road with a littlie.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So how has it been adding Heath into the family? Because now you're basically starting again.
That's right. So I fell pregnant in Tasmania.
Yes.
So I was horribly sick for the first 3 to 4 months of pregnancy.
And Liam would have been 3, so
Liam
he probably
was 3.
wasn't that accommodating.
He wasn't particularly helpful, no. So we decided to park up for a bit and we stopped in Yeppoon, Queensland last year to have Heath, who was, he was 5 months old when we decided to finally leave Yeppoon. So we stopped in a house for a bit and then moved back into the caravan to hit the road again. And to be honest, like in comparison to Liam, Heath, I think now that I'm more of a confident mum, he's been a much easier baby to manage. He also sleeps like about 70 times better than Liam ever did. So to be honest, it's actually been pretty good this time. Yeah.
So would you recommend travelling with smaller children on the road?
Look, I think if you're going to travel, if you want to travel, you should just do it, no matter how old your kids are, because the experience that you're going to give them on the road should, well, for us, has outweighed anything that we could have given them at that time of our lives in a house. So I think that if you want to do it, you should just do it.
No matter how difficult.
It certainly has its challenges. The hardest thing for me having a baby on the road is managing the sleep, particularly with Liam, who never napped. He'd take at least an hour to get down for a sleep during the day, fought the car naps, would scream at us. But we got through that. And Heath has, in contrast, like a huge contrast. He sleeps pretty well overnight. There have been some challenging, very challenging nights, challenging evenings as well. And in the caravan, there's nowhere to escape to. So if he needs a rock down, Mark has to take him outside, and that's weather dependent as well. So sometimes he'll be crying. Everybody in the caravan's awake.
Yeah, there's no space, no second space for him to go
That's
into.
That's right.
Yeah.
You can't just go into a bedroom and shut the door and have a crying baby. So it's definitely something to consider. But Mark and I have a pretty good system now, and if one of us needs a break, the other one is immediately there. So we've sort of figured it out.
So make sure you have good communication with your husband before you travel with young children, or maybe you
might
survive.
Yeah, because you won't get any support on the road either unless you meet wonderful friends like Mel and Brett and Kaylee and Owen have been really great for us in this time and provided that extra support. Mel comes in and helps with bath time.
Yeah, no, I go steal the baby all the time.
That's right. And Kaylee here. It's been really, really helpful with Heathy too, and she just whisks him off. So it's good. We're getting a little bit of a break. So.
Yeah. Well, I think because like Kaylee's now 10, so she's into playing with little babies.
She is. I wasn't when I was 10, but Kaylee's wonderful at it.
She's got a bit time shared between Liam and Heath at the moment.
True, so yes.
So that's good. That sounds like you're managing pretty well.
Yes. Has improved. Yes.
I would think your worst thing about travel days as a mum would be exponentially harder with younger children because you'd have to manage it quite differently.
It's, I'd say the hardest thing or like the worst thing about travel days would be it's busy. It's very busy. So we get up anywhere between like 7:30 and 8:30. And then from breakfast, it's just go, go, go because we're all trying to get in the car and hitched up before Heath needs his first nap. So he's coming out of that 2 nap time now. So at the moment he's pushing for just an afternoon nap, which is better for us. But I mean, sometimes he's screaming and I've got him on my hip and I'm trying to pack up inside and it's just chaos and Liam's asking for snacks and he's getting more helpful, Liam, but it's just really, really busy. So travel days can be exhausting, especially if you're doing a big pack up. By the time you're done driving for the day, you're done. Yeah. You're very done. Yeah.
But what is the best thing you love about being a travelling family with the kids this young in age?
With the kids this young in age, I think it's just that we're all together as a family and we get to experience all of these new things and new places together. I'm also not missing any of those big milestones or leaps. I get to see the first steps, the first laughs, And
first poo explosion.
The first poo explosions, but also seeing like Liam and Heath bond together, having those family moments, and Mark can be a part of it every step of the way too. It makes you feel good. Yeah.
You won't regret any of that.
I don't think I'm going to regret it. Creating core memories and taking my kids on these adventures has been epic.
And how do you manage the travel days with Curie? Because you've only got Curie now, because Costa's no longer with you.
That's right. So this is our dog, Curie. She's an Australian Kelpie. She's 12 years old, so she's an old girl now. Still acts like a puppy, but she has slowed down a lot. When we first left, we had Costa as well, also a Kelpie, but he passed away earlier this year. So Liam and the dogs together was a huge handful. And then when we left, Costa passed away before we left Yeppoon this year. So I think if we'd had 2 kids and 2 dogs, it would have been absolute chaos. Yeah. But she's really easy. So you can take Curie anywhere. She's one of those dogs that you can take to a cafe. The only time she gets a little crazy is when there's a drone.
Oh, yes. You have to lock Curie away.
So Brett has to warn us when he's putting the drone up so that we can just put Curie in the van or like put her in the car, because she gets a little crazy.
Yeah, and even if birds flying low, she's like, is that a drone? I'm going to get
it. It's a drone, yeah. Or she sees like a kite surfers, drones, sometimes even planes. Like, so that's just something that we have to manage on the road, yeah.
And now that Liam's 5, we were lucky enough to celebrate his birthday with him, which is very exciting. He's 5 now.
He's 5,
going to be starting school next year. What's the plan? That's a big step. I mean, have you started doing anything with him, or is that something that's like, oh, too hard, we'll worry about it later? Is it something you enjoy?
Well, we've always been, we've taught him the basics. So basically he's got a general knowledge of things. So he knows his alphabet, he knows his numbers. We're working on his counting at the moment, and he's adding up. He's very interested in science and asking big questions.
Science experiments?
Yeah, that's right. Science experiments, loves craft. We are currently in the process of teaching him how to read, something Mel's has provided a lot of guidance on, which has been really helpful. So at the moment, we're just doing flashcards. He's very interested in writing. But his attention span,
letters to family are becoming.
Letters to family will be coming, everybody. They're coming. But his attention span is not there yet. So we'll do maybe 10 or 15 minutes of writing, and then perhaps we'll do flashcards, and then later in the day we'll do reading with him.
But boys' attention span is slightly shorter.
Yeah.
No offence to the other sex, but it is a true fact.
Yes. So we're making progress with Liam, but we're just going by what he's most interested in as well. So if he wants to learn about space or cars or something, then we'll do that with him and just really go with what he's interested in to keep his attention a bit longer.
And do you ever access like libraries on the road? Is it like somewhere to take him for a while?
Yeah, so usually we only do libraries if we're parked up with somewhere, because then you can go in and get physical books out. So today I was actually in the library in Port Lincoln, got a library card. Yay! So we'll be here for a while in SA. So SA is great because you can pick up books at one library and drop them at another library in South Australia. Hot tip for parents, get a library card when you're in SA. It's totally worth it. And then most of the time, we just go to op shops.
Yeah.
Op shops have been so good to get books on the road, and you guys are the same with Kaylee and your reading as well.
Yes. The only problem is with my daughter is she's like, I read it.
She's also a really fast reader. So, but the perks is you're only spending maybe like $3 or $4 on say 10 or so books, and then you can take them back next week and get a whole bunch of new ones. And like little libraries on the road at caravan parks and book exchanges are really, really helpful.
So from that, leading into that, how do you manage toys on the road? Because obviously your children are smaller, so they're interested in totally different things.
Yeah, so there's a lot of hands-on play happening. And it was Liam's birthday just yesterday, so he's got this huge influx of toys, and I've just done a massive rotation of toys just today. So I've taken a huge bunch to the op shop. Yeah. We also send those toys that are really important to the kids back home to Nana or Gran.
For storage?
Storage, yeah. And then we can always ask Nana or Gran to send them to us at another point down the track when the kids want them back. So that's basically, it's just a constant rotation of toys. So we've got car toys, and then we've got van toys. At the moment, Liam's really interested in his Hot Wheels cars. still. I think it's just been 5 years and ongoing. His monster trucks.
I know, he's just started with Pokemon.
He's just started with Pokemon. He loves it. He loves it. So he's got Pokemon cards. Have been really, really fun to do with him on the road. And it's something that Mark and I grew up with too. So lots of bonding happening there. And with baby toys, Heath pretty much just wants to play with whatever Liam's playing with, basically. So he's borrowing a lot of Liam's toys at the moment. And then we have car toys as well, which I rotate on travel days out all the time, just to keep their interest.
So is that how you keep them entertained in the car?
Yeah, so in the car, at the moment, Heath will sleep pretty much for the whole trip. Sometimes if he wakes up early, he can get pretty whingy. We just have to make sure we're stopping more regularly and like managing those days because they can be really long with an upset baby. So lots of breaks.
Yeah.
Lots of snacks in the car, which Mark hates because Liam drops crumbs everywhere. Yeah. So I actually have a car basket that goes in and out of the car on travel days. It lives in the car. Travel days, it comes in the van. I fill it up with water bottles, snacks, toys. Liam gets his iPad in the car. We have a general rule that he's not allowed on the iPad until we leave the place where we're staying, whether that's a town, a city, or a bush or whatever. We have to get out on the main road. So he has to see it as we're coming in, and he has to know that we're leaving that place so he can experience it.
That's a good idea.
Yes.
That's a very good tip.
Yeah. We listen to a lot of silly songs in the car, which can get really annoying. Spotify's really good for that. And we went through a Wiggles era when Liam was little, and I think it's going to come back around. You hate the Wiggles. I love the Wiggles. They're fantastic. So much so that now we're in like the top 100 of Wiggles viewers on Spotify in our first year of travel.
So Spotify's a good tip then.
Spotify's great for audiobooks if you've got like the premium one, audiobooks, podcasts, and music. Yeah, so we listen to a lot of kids' music as well. Do lots of sing-alongs.
So do you do much driving in the car? So how do you split the car and the van duties of organising everything?
So I don't like driving with the van on the highway. If it's a dirt road, sure, that's fine. Mainly because we're going a bit slower, there's less traffic. I can concentrate a bit more. I'm a bit daunted by main roads. I have been talking to Mark though, and I think when we cross back across the Nullarbor at some point, I'm going to have another go and see how I go with my confidence. In terms of van duties though, I mean, it's pretty similar to you guys. Like, I'm sort of the master of the interior of the caravan and Mark handles everything on the outside. I'd like to think that if something happened to Mark and I needed to do everything that I could do it, it might take a little bit longer. Yeah. But I think I could do it. Yeah.
I mean, you've watched him enough do it, so.
Yeah. And we've been on the road for 4 years now, so I think I'd be okay. Yeah. But yeah, it's generally how it works. With Heath now though, and if it's a hard morning of packing, Mark will sometimes do the whole inside and the outside. So
That's great.
Yeah, he's really helpful. We just do what we have to do to get on the road, basically.
That's amazing.
Yeah.
Do you have trouble sending and receiving post?
Yes, all the time. So post is a huge challenge.
It's where the admin side of your life comes into it, being organised.
That's right.
And the men sometimes can't do it. Brett ordered a package and he couldn't even tell me where he ordered it from or where he was sending it to, and I'm like, dude. No.
So Mark also has trouble with post. So I have the AusPost app on my phone. It's invaluable if you're travelling Australia. So basically you can go in there and just set any post office as your address. You get a parcel collect number and they send you the address, and it's all set up on AusPost, and anything that you send to that parcel collect address will pop up. Yep. It's supposed to pop up.
It's supposed to pop up.
It's supposed to pop up.
In theory.
So you'll get notifications when it's sent and when it's received. And then when you go to the post office, you've got it all there on your phone. In theory.
In theory. The hardest thing is though telling your family to send the tracking number to you though, so that when they're sending you something, you know if you're going to miss it or you're going to get it.
That's right. So it's really hard to preempt where you're going to be. So a lot of the time we'll go, all right, our next major stop for like 2 weeks or something or longer will be there.
So you need to post it in like 2 days.
You need to post it now. But if you're not going to post it now, you need to post it to this other address.
Yes.
So it's just sort of looking ahead. And there's been so many times where I've had to call the post office. Can you please forward it to this address?
It will cost you $7 to get it forwarded.
That's fine. Yes.
And
So,
where it's coming from too makes a huge difference. Your family's all in WA.
That's right,
So
yeah.
that takes extra weeks.
That's right, yeah. WA is just a bit slow.
Wait a while, yes, we do know that.
Yeah. Right.
So the other big topic for discussion for you guys is, how do you manage working on the road? Because obviously you're a YouTuber's wife.
Yes.
As well as a working mum.
Yeah, so Mark spends a lot of time editing our YouTube, which is great, but I did have my own business before we left, which I continued into our travels, doing remote administration. So when we first left, I was doing 2 to 3 days a week, and then having Heath, I stopped work and have since started back up again, but I'm only doing 4 to 5 hours a week, which generally happens at night time after the kids have gone to bed, and only happens during the day when the kids are otherwise occupied. So
just been a little bit more lately. We've had Kaylee the babysitter.
Yes, Kaylee's been very helpful, as has Mel. Heath is very clingy to Mum at the moment, so it can be a challenge if he sees me. It's a challenge. It's a big challenge. So yes, we manage that. We just figure it out as we go. Yeah.
How do you really feel about vlogging your life?
Oh gosh.
Remember, we're not editing these videos, guys. So we have to be diplomatic.
So to be perfectly honest, I have been getting exhausted of it lately. Yeah. It's more about having another thing to think about. It's Mark's hobby and he loves doing it, and he's really made a big thing for us to be YouTubers, and it's worked out pretty well for us. It's also given us some great memories, and we look back on these videos all the time of the kids and Liam and the dogs, and so they're all the upsides. The downsides is that we're constantly having to think about it, and I think that's what grinds my gears the most, is the extra mental load of vlogging. Mark's pretty good. He does, I'd say, 80% of it. I participate in the videos. Mark does all of the editing. I have to provide extra assistance when he wants to fly the drone, whether I watch the kids, whether I'm driving, managing the dog. Hates drones. So
it's not always your vision either, it's their vision.
That's
We're just
right.
tag-alongs.
So we do have a lot of
creative non-input.
Creative non-input. Driving in the car is really good for discussing YouTube episodes and what we're going to do and how we're going to do it. A lot of the time, the things that I want to put in a video are disregarded. We have a lot of heated discussions about what should and shouldn't be in there. But if you've been watching our videos, Mark and I, pretty much what you see is what you get. We're very genuine. We don't try to hide anything. So you do see a lot. Yeah.
What about your favourite place you've been to that you could go back to over and over and over again?
That's such a hard question.
Do you have like a favourite state, or do you just have somewhere you really like travelling through?
I love Queensland, and that's why we spent so long there last year and this year. We were still in Queensland up until July? No, later than that.
Yeah.
August. Late August. Early September. I don't know. It's all blur. I feel like it was later than that. So love Queensland. We just love the variety that's available there. It was a relief to get to South Australia and go to the ocean and not worry about crocodiles. So that was probably like the downside of Queensland, having that extra stress of managing that with kids as well, and with the dog as well. Like, can she run free on this beach without getting eaten? So yeah, we love Queensland. There's just so much to do there, from the outback to the coast to the rainforest. It's just a really cool place to visit.
Awesome. What do you do? Cheers?
Cheers.
Cheers. I feel like that was a successful general video about how travelling Australia as a mum is different to travelling Australia as a man.
If you've got any questions that we haven't covered, and I'm sure there's tons, just message us through our YouTube channels, or we're both on Facebook and we're both on Instagram as well.
Yep.
Feel free to ask anything that you think
you want further clarification on. We're happy to answer. Maybe we'll answer all the comments for a change.
Yeah. It's probably not going to happen, but we'll try.
We'll try.
Yes.
You think there's going to be a lot more time in the day to learn or to do things or to relax more, but it is busy a lot of the time.
Yeah, we make the most of it. I mean, between doing general life things, being parents and spending time with the kids and exploring, which is a huge thing that we do.
Huge thing. And spending time with your partner and then trying to have your own time.
Yeah, it's a busy life. Yeah.
I know I wanted to learn to like do all these cool hairstyles and stuff. It took me a year to learn how to braid, so I just like haven't bothered trying any new hobbies. Yeah. My goal this year is to read 100 books and I've got 14 left to read. So, I mean, but that's even taken a lot of dedication.
Yes, she's doing really well.
And the amount of books I'm like, Clem, you need to read this one. You're like, Mel, I need to sleep too.
Yes, she's been very helpful in keeping me in books this year. It's been great. All right, so we hope that you've really enjoyed our videos. Please feel free to
message us. Oh, don't forget to
like and subscribe
and comment.
Yes.
And we'll see you on the next episode or adventure, guys.
Yeah.
Bye-bye.
See ya.